Thank you for staying with us. Still about governance, but let's look at the legislative arm on that is current administration. How have they fared? The National Assembly, the Red Chamber, has been led by former governor of Akwa Ibom State, Senator Goswill Akpabio, and the Speaker at the House of Reps is Tajudeen Abbas. How have they fared? How has the principal officer fared? How have they been able to do that work of proper legislation and oversight function with checks and balancing, is that what they have been on? A former gubernatorial candidate in River State, the Gatekeepers side, penned in a weekly column and took, a swipe at the legislature. In fact, he said, are they gatekeepers or they are spectators, that's what, that's the question that the Gatekeepers side asked. Let me ask you, we still have Dr. Oluyemi Omotashe Jr. here. Without sentiment, in reality, the legislature or the legislative arm, as we currently have, in the words of the Gatekeepers side, are they gatekeepers or spectators?
Look, they are not only gatekeepers. They have become an extension of the executive arm of government.
When you say gatekeepers, that means they are the one who gatekeeps. Are they doing that function, or they are just spectators there?
They are gatekeepers for the executive. It is an extension of the executive, the National Assembly, both houses. And then it is the dictate of the president that, that happens in the National Assembly. I give you an example.
Is that a fair analysis?
I give you an example. The president went there. They all stood up. All, no party exception. They all stood up and said, on your mandate, we shall stand. That's kind of National Assembly.
They should stand, really. The president is in.
For what?
That's the president. They should stand.
The idea behind presidentialism or the presidential system of government is that we should have 3 arms of government that should serve as checks and balances on each other. And then when there is disagreement between the executive and the legislature, the judiciary will intervene. I'm happy to tell you that the National Assembly is rubber stamp. Of course, I can't contest that because the quality of the people in that National Assembly are the type that can become more than rubber stamp. Again, go and check out their antecedent. The president of the Senate himself lost election. He contested for president. He lost. He's not supposed to be in the Senate. You knew how he got there through the judiciary, and then the judicial intervention was silly. Again, there are so many of them like that. Now, when you look at our judiciary today, can you say in your own conscience that the judiciary is dispensing justice? When there is no justice, there can be no fair play. And in this case, the president, I've told you here that this is a settlement government. The National Assembly is settled. The judiciary is settled. And in settling them, they were giving them houses, they were providing building houses for them, they were doing so many things for them to settle them. And so they are jeopardizing this democracy. And it is unfortunate we are like this. We don't have a National Assembly that can check the president. Instead of doing that, it's Natasha and some other minor ephemeral issues, they will pursue up and down. Look at the budget. The budget for a serious assembly. Will a budget be padded with 6-point-something trillion naira? And nobody was asking questions until legit came out. Who are they representing? We are in that same National Assembly where you see people who won election on the basis of one political party defecting. All of them defecting. It has happened in Osun State. It has happened in another state that all the senators have decamped to another party. How do they check? If you are decamping to that party, it means you are kowtowing with that party. It means you are colluding with them. It means you are collaborating with government to sing their song and do what they are doing. And the unfortunate thing is that the sufferings and hardship this government has imposed on Nigeria by the removal of the PMS subsidy and the floating of the naira and other economic policies is not attracting the interest of the National Assembly.
All right, Dr. Motosho. Looking at the National Assembly, let's take a pragmatic look at them. According to the Gatekeepers site's article, he tried to compare Nigeria with the United States. That we can actually say borrow democracy from. They should be like the standard globally. He said in the United States and Washington, D.C., we have organizations and bodies and metrics to check the legislative arm of government. For instance, they have the legislative effectiveness score, about 15 indicators to x-ray the bills of the legislative arm to make sure they are quality bills, and also they have the Healthy Congress Index to look at the transparency of the legislative arm of government, the votes, how transparent they are, how often they meet, the originality of bills, and so on. And they compare that to Nigeria. We don't have all that. So who's really checking the legislative arm of government in Nigeria? And again, looking at their actions so far, the 10th Assembly, it said in that first year, they had about 400 and something bills, about 494 bills or so, and they passed only 19 with about 4%. Then in the second year, up till May, they have about 341 bills. They proposed about 341 bills and passed only 7. Again, the House of Representatives has been more busy, very busy, having about 1,727 bills. And out of the 1,727 bills, about 114 was passed, which is still about 6.6% or thereabouts. And he also raised another pertinent issue, that most of these bills, Dr. Motosho, are actually copy and paste. Bills from previous assemblies that were just copied. He said some of them were copied verbatim, copied and paste. So the question is, what kind of quality do we have in the legislative arm of government in Nigeria?
The quality of parliamentarians we have is weak. It's nothing to write home about. All the bills you even said they are passed, are they in the interest of Nigeria? If they are in the interest of Nigerians, the level of hardship and suffering will not be this high. That is one. Our economic situation will have been stable, will have stabilized. Prices will have been stable, will have increased productivity, and to increase productivity means that our currency will have been strengthened. But they are not passing any quality bill. The National Assembly is just an extension of the executive. It's what the president said. They said the president of the Senate told us to himself that anything the president sent here, they will make sure he says true, whether good or bad. If not because of the outcry from Nigerians.
That was under Lawan.
This one has said it too. Akpabio, you can quote me. He has said it, in fact, 2 times. And then they pursue ephemeral issues instead of major issues. The 3 arms of government, they are supposed to serve as checks and balances on each other. There should be no watertight separation of power, but there should be separation of power. Watertight in the sense that we are not saying you should quarrel, but you should, when they bring something, you should look at it. When 309 and 160 of you look at it from your own angle, you can advise the executive. It should go this way. And if you say, this is the way it should go to favor Nigeria, and the president said, no, that is the way I want it, the National Assembly has the power to use 2/3 majority by voting, physical voting, to override the president. That has never happened. And it will not happen in this assembly because this assembly is an extension of the executive. And that is why all of them are struggling. You see, the president went somewhere and he said that PDP is gone. He said he went to a place and he saw one umbrella and he counted 100 holes. So is that how...
That's the Senate president.
Yes, that's how the Senate president...
His former party.
should be talking in a multi-party democracy. Any serious National Assembly member, any serious parliamentarian...
But he shouldn't be praising the opposition, should he?
No, they should not be praising them. Should be weeping for Nigeria that our opposition is gone because we need opposition to put the executive on his toes. And we are practicing multi-party democracy because this is a multilingual society. And in this environment, you can even form a party just for the sake of your local government, and nobody will threaten you. But anybody that is actually criticizing this government is either, arrested by AFCC or settled with money, and that is the end of that criticism.
All right, Dr. Motosho.
It's unfortunate we are on this level, and this cannot give us dividends of democracy. It will lead to authoritarianism. It will lead to dictatorship. And it may cause anarchy.
All right, Dr. Motosho. Are you not concerned as a political scientist that bills on the floor of the National Assembly, such as the Electoral Reform Bill, bills are taking time to see the light of day? But unfortunately, there was this particular bill for the change of the national anthem to revert to the old one, 1960. That same bill passed 3 readings, the first, the second, and the third reading at one sitting at National Assembly.
Yes.
And within 8 days, it became law.
Yes.
Look at the lightning speed
Yes,
of that bill succeeding.
That is the kind of National Assembly we have. Quality parliament, poor quality parliamentarian. What is the meaning of the National Assembly, of the national item to Nigeria, if there is no food on their table? What is the meaning of that? Where you are supposed to pass bill on how to stop insecurity, how to strengthen our military, how to strengthen our security architecture, how to strengthen education, how to strengthen health. Look, this example is it will be unfair on my friend, but I need to say it. The president will want to treat malaria. He's going to France. You see somebody who is the chairman of an chief executive, the CMD of an hospital, a public hospital, is going to treat himself in a foreign country. So, which means they have lost confidence in this system. They only cater for themselves. They don't bother about us. The National Assembly, that is supposed to be the voice of the people, has become an extension of the government, and that is unfair. And why I'm angry personally is because this Tinubu we are talking about was in the doldrum. He fought for this democracy. So we expect him to do the right thing. We expect him to know what he felt when he was in opposition. We expect him to correct all those things and make sure that this government is balanced. That look, there is strong opposition, the government is doing its work. In fact, you can, when the opposition criticizes the government can invite them, please come and explain better. Maybe we can go through your own route. Because why? Because both the opposition and the government are supposed to be working towards the enhancement of good governance and democracy. But in this case, they don't even allow the opposition to talk now. How many, go and ask your worry, how many times? It's always in the court. Always, either they are taking him to prison.
All right, that's the path he has chosen to take now, as a critic.
That's an opposition. An opposition that want to demolish the headquarters of the PDP. They want to demolish it. Until the president said, no, don't do it yet.
No, I think that's unfair.
Wike will have demolished
the PDP secretariat, the office, with other offices, they were owing.
No matter how much they are owing, they will have given them some time.
Yeah,
that disgraces our democracy nationally and internationally.
Mr. Motosho,
you can give them some time to pay their bill.
Hold on, sir.
Not to demolish their house.
Shouldn't you put that on the PDP and other defaulters?
PDP,
please hear me. Now, shouldn't put it on the PDP? The office they are using at the Wadata Plaza, they are defaulting. The ones they are building, that they are built for ages under construction, they are defaulting. FRS, Access Bank, other people have been defaulting, and their list, almost 4,000 of them, they were listed in a national daily months ago. If a party like the PDP, like other defaulters, are serious, are they not supposed to have handled their matter?
They are irresponsible.
Shouldn't it get to this level?
They are irresponsible.
So why blame the FCTA for that?
I agree. But you know, that is one major element of this democracy. When you demolish the national headquarters of that party,
they are not demolishing, they only sealed it.
They said they are going to demolish.
Sealed it.
They said they are going. They have unsealed it now because the president has told them go and unseal it. And then what I'm saying is, you can give them some time. Look, we are warning you. We are giving you this number of days to do this. Now, demolishing it publicly and shouting, we are going to do this, is part of the instrument to weaken the opposition.
Sorry, that you answered together.
Why was it not done some years back?
No, what I'm saying is this. Is it not utter and crass irresponsibility?
It is.
For a PDP that was in power for 16 years.
It is.
Not to be able to handle its affairs and do the needful.
It is. If you ask the other political parties, including the APC, they are all defaulting.
Well, we don't know that.
You will not know because they are in government.
Because the FRS was defaulting.
I say you will not know.
Was allegedly defaulting.
They are in
now, all right. Because
when
of time.
PDP was in government for 16 years, who has the capacity to go and say they want to demolish their house?
All right.
They are all doing the wrong thing.
All right.
They are responsible. What I'm trying to say is that, I mean, they are using everything at their disposal to ensure that they weaken the opposition.
Because of time.
And that is not good.
All right. But then one would say the PDP played into their hands as well.
They may be.
By not minding.
Because they are irresponsible.
Yeah. All right. Now, we have, a few minutes to go now. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will be 2 years in office tomorrow, officially. How will you do? I know you have said maybe he hasn't done well, but will you say it has all been gloom and doom and nothing, knowing fully well that states have more money now? Everybody is blaming Tinubu for removing subsidy. Fair enough. But that removal of subsidy has put more money into the hands, please hold on, into the hands of the federal government. States now have more money, enormous money. Now, people are not really looking at the governors. The NEL fund loan thing is there and it's working. Many students are being part of it and other things as well. How will you describe it?
Yeah.
In clear conscience.
In clear conscience.
2 years of President
Tinubu. Most of his economic policies are faulty and not politically expedient. He told us he has to take hard decisions to move Nigeria forward. But he's not living it. His people are not living it. He put the cart before the horse. That is the problem. All the political parties during campaign said they are going to remove subsidy.
Right.
Nigerians, because of the corruption in the subsidy regime, said remove it. But it was not that one man will arrogantly remove it alone. We expect the government to remove it. It was only Tinubu that removed the subsidy and floated the naira without consulting anybody. And that is why the economic hardship and suffering catapulted. That is why the government is running from pillar to post. To me, because of lack of consultation by this government, particularly PBAC, because of his political economic policies that are not well debated by Nigerians and experts before he took the decision, I gave him a very poor mark. In fact, if you ask me to score him, based on the suffering of Nigeria, if you score as a lecturer, he shouldn't score more than 5 over 100. He has 5%. Performed badly. He has put Nigeria on a very bad pedestal to the extent that families can't feed, people cannot go to work, professors are riding Okada because there is no money to buy petrol. Let me tell you, the PMS thing in Iran, PMS is 26 naira equivalent. And what do? If they catch you exporting, if they are exporting, anyone they are exporting, about 1,800, 1,900. But if they catch you exporting their PMS illegally, it's public execution. In this place, we even if we can't police our borders, you can manage to do so many things without removing, because the only thing Nigerians were really enjoying, it was that PMS. And then you remove it without consulting them. And that has increased look at prices of goods. We can't buy rice. If I want to buy a bag of rice from my salary now, then it means I will not be going to work again. Because at the end of the day,
all right, Dr.
He has performed badly. I can give him 5%.
You're giving him 5%.
Because he's always putting the horse before the cart before the horse, and he's not consulting enough.
All right, Dr. Omotosho. The president has performed badly according to you.
Yes.
You're rating him 5%.
5%.
But again, Dr. Omotosho, it all boils down to the inefficiency and non-effectiveness of the legislative arm of government, the National Assembly. In your own opinion, what do you think we can do? What can be done to strengthen the legislative arm of government in Nigeria? Is it that we do not have quality people there, or is it that we don't have institutions and we don't have parameters to check their activities, just like we have in the United States of America?
The first thing to do is for the president to become born again, Democrat, become charismatic, decide that he will no more be corrupt. It is corruption that is enhancing all this.
But can the National Assembly influence that change?
The boss thought on the president's table. If the president wants the National Assembly to be incorruptible today, he can do it.
But should they, sorry, Dr. Mosso, should the National Assembly be waiting for the president? That's my question.
I'm coming. Both the National Assembly and the executive are, fantastically corrupt. And because of that,
these are big allegations.
These are
big allegations.
They can come into
just like the British Prime Minister.
I have my reason. Corruption is tribal.
Those are big allegations.
It's palpable.
I mean, it must be substantiated.
Yes, it's palpable. You can hold. I've given you the case of the one that was a humanitarian who stole 44 billion, and we have not heard anything up till now. There are many. Look at the NNPC. Look at the NNPC. They told us several times. I came here to tell you several times that Warri refinery was not working. They were doing corruption. They were importing and then taking it there to refill and say the thing is producing petrol. Have we not discovered now that it has collapsed? Corruption is in everywhere. If our cash cow is a cesspool of corruption, how can development come? Everybody in the National Assembly, everybody in the executive is struggling for what they can steal every day, and that cannot help Nigeria. So if the president, if they want a solution to all these problems, the president has to turn a new leaf, and he has to call his court in the National Assembly and tell them to turn a new leaf. That where are you going with all this wealth? You are here when the Senate president told us that we have paid something to your something.
To your account.
To your account. You can go and have it. Is that legal? You are here when the same Senate president was saying before he became Senate president as Minister of Niger Delta, off microphone, off microphone, off microphone.
It's all right. We have to go.
Has to collapse. The endemically pervasive environment like Nigeria cannot see development for a long time, particularly when the corruption emanates from the chief executive of the country, which is the president.
We must go. And of course, just like I said, those are big allegations.
And I've substantiated them.
And they are your opinion.
Yes,
by the way.
They're my opinion, and I can be quoted anywhere.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Oluyemi Omotosho Jr., for your take on deepening democracy here in Nigeria. And of course, President Bola Tinubu officially will be 2 years in office tomorrow. And then we will have a special one to look at his scorecard. And it's towards, having a better nation, the one that we are proud of. Either it's PDP or APC or LP or the one they call APC, PDP. It's all about this nation. Femi Ojuisman will make a return tomorrow for a very wonderful one. Big shout out to the production team. You can have a recap on our YouTube channel at Western Spring TV.
Absolutely. Don't forget to join us tomorrow for a fresh edition of Morning Spring on Western Spring Television. Thank you once again, Dr. Omotosho, for joining us today. And apart from Dr. Omotosho, I think it was not former Prime Minister David Cameron who actually said it, that Nigeria is fantastically corrupt. So he's not the only one saying it. Thank you for joining us. Emeka Daniel is my name. Do well to join us again tomorrow for a fresh edition. Do have a wonderful day. Good morning.